and welcome to episode 9 of the Back of a Length podcast. A very somber mood with the podcast this week, given the events of the first test result against Australia.
I mean, it's not somber. It's a combination of, oh yeah, I guess I expected that, and also, oh my gosh, how much more can the Black Caps let themselves down? Throw it away. Yeah. Were they really in it, or were we just sort of being optimistic? But there were times that
there definitely were.
It was testing. Run us through what happened. From the beginning. New Zealand won the toss, chose to bowl first. And that'll be their only win of the series.
Play began at 11 p.m. sharp. Do you want me to run you through ball by ball?
Did you just say 11 p.m. sharp?
11 p.m. sharp? I did. 11 a.m. sharp. Holy smokes, we're not even going to edit that out because that's funny. It was a day-night test with no day involved whatsoever. It was just a night test.
a night, overnight. And then the dewy mornings of Wellington, the sun rose over Mount Victoria as the game was coming to a close.
And it might genuinely explain how the New Zealand batsmen failed so badly. New Zealand won the toss, chose to bowl first. You look at the pitch and it's so green. You're really struggling to figure out where the pitch starts and the outfield, kind of, where those two meet together.
Looks like a Christmas tree.
It did look like a Christmas tree, but I feel like a lot of New Zealand tracks recently have been so green, but they they become quite flat on days 2 and 3. So everyone gets really excited about this green tinge, right? But this is probably the first test where the pitch has definitely aided the bowlers throughout the whole test.
Yeah.
Steve Smith, Usman Khawaja get Australia up to 61 without loss. Steve Smith falls, and there's a bit of a procession of wickets. Labuschagne went pretty early. Khawaja then went out. Got out a little bit after that. Travis Head went for quite cheap, and you're thinking, do you know what? New Zealand are in the game here. Australia 89 for 4. Cam Green, I genuinely thought was a walking wicket in the first innings. I thought any minute now he's gonna get one through bat and pad, which is his relative weakness. He really, because he's so tall, right? He plants that front foot forward, and I thought any minute now he's gonna get ball through the game. But then Mitchell Marsh came in.
Yeah, he's so annoying.
Really, he is, because you think, like 89 for 4, and New Zealand really, really have an opportunity here to break through this Australian batting lineup. And he counter-attacked, and it was so awesome to watch, like on a really difficult pitch. Yeah, sorry, from as a cricket fan, I guess, and you want there to be a bit of a competition, but that really allowed Cam Green to come out of his shell, who was struggling, and then unfortunately Cam Green goes on to make 174 not out, and you're kind of thinking, all right, you took that joke a little bit too far.
Yeah, come on, mate.
If you'd got maybe like 60 or 70, that'd have been all right. But I thought that, day 1 really did belong to New Zealand. Day 2 was really Australia's day. And what swung the test match, and I know this is a really weird thing to say because it was the first session of day 2, the fact that New Zealand allowed Josh Hazlewood to bat for 62 balls and get 22 and allow Cam Green to attack from the other end, that was painful.
That was so painful. That was a full session of a 9th wicket partnership.
Yeah.
That just was so unnecessary, but they couldn't get him out. They had no idea what to do.
Couldn't get a wicket. They weren't really bowling at the stumps, and they were allowing a lot of freebies to the Australian batsmen. Australia ended the day 9 down for about 270 odd on day 1, and you're thinking, sweet, wrap it up early and this is probably the issue. New Zealand bowlers are probably thinking, sweet, we'll wrap this up earlier, we'll get Hazlewood out, and then we'll get into bat, and we're chasing maybe 280 in the first innings. 280 then become 383.
It's very annoying,
and it was quite frustrating. However, props to Will O'Rourke and Matt Henry. Matt Henry got a 5-fer. He bowled really, really, really well. Was very well supported by Will O'Rourke. Yep. Tim Southey didn't really make that much of a contribution, and also we'll go into the second innings in a minute, but I really don't think that Tim Southey had his greatest game.
No, he didn't.
To Australia get 383, and you're thinking, all right, that might be slightly above par, and then oh my God, I don't know how to describe this.
That's bad.
New Zealand at 12 without loss. Then they're 12 for 1, 12 for 2, 12 for 3, 29 for 4, 29 for 5. I'm thinking, oh my God, this is going to be over in 2 days.
Yeah, it was. Oh my gosh, I couldn't believe this. It was awful.
I was kind of watching on my TV and doing a bit of work at the same time. And at one point, I don't think I've ever been so grateful to be distracted by work.
It was like work saved you on the second day of the test match, eh?
Oh, it so did. Like, it was just deflating, wasn't it? Like,
it was
as you
awful.
say, getting through that whole session without taking the wicket and then coming out to bat and being 29 for 5. The run out of Williamson was, I think that kind of summed up the whole test.
Yeah, that was really terrible. Even though I'm the first to admit Will Young really messed that up.
Yeah.
Don't ball watch. Run on your right, like run to your right. What is it like? It's like you're on an escalator coming up the off the underground in London. What do they say? Stick to the.
Stand to the left, but it's opposite for running right. Like if Will Young could have just ran straight, because he's already off the pitch, so Kane Williamson goes around him, and he's the one who's called the run. So Kane Williamson goes around the non-striking batsman. Like he's the one to, But Glenn Phillips came in and he was well supported by Tom Blundell and then very well supported by Matt Henry, who made 42, and that gave New Zealand a semi-respectable 179.
Yeah, nice sneaky innings there from Matt Henry. I'm such a fan of Matt Henry. I mean, we'll get into him a bit later on, but he's just playing such a great role in the team. New Zealand come out to bowl again. And you're thinking, well, can it get any worse? And Glenn Phillips, another hero there. He took a fifer, the first spinner to take a fifer in a test match in 8 years. Was it?
Yeah.
Or 16
Pretty
years.
Awesome.
Actually, I think it was 16 years.
In New Zealand.
New Zealand, 16 years.
Yeah. It's pretty awesome. And the fact that he's a part-time spinner as well. And like Mitch Marsh got out first ball playing a defensive shot and prodding. Travis Head kind of, caught between two minds. He bowled really well, and he got a lot of rip on the ball. He got a lot of reds.
I don't really know how to describe this innings from GP because it was so left field, but he was just so good.
It was, and I think you go back to the original comment of everyone gets carried away with a really green pitch, and obviously a green pitch does aid seamers, but what a green pitch also does is allows the seam to bite in the surface. So generally, if the wicket's green on day one and it dries out a little bit, there's going to be spin. So I do question whether there was a fast bowler who should not be named, who offered absolutely nothing in this test match whatsoever, could potentially have brought in a spinner instead, having seen the pitch.
Would you not have
specialist spinner?
Yeah, I was just going to say, because your best option there would be Rachin Ravindra, who did bowl a few overs each innings.
Yeah, he's not really a specialist spinner, though. You're looking at somebody like Ajaz Patel, right? Or
Mitchell Santner.
Mitchell Santner. Mitchell Santner, actually, really good shout. Mitchell Santner would have been somebody who could have added a little bit extra to the batting order as a more all-round batsman than he who should not be named, and bowl a really good consistent spell and can get the ball to turn. So imagine if you'd have had Mitchell Santner spinning it and ripping it from one end and Glenn Phillips ripping it from another end, and I think they probably underused the spinner in the first innings because Nathan Lyon got a lot of bounce and a lot of turn in his first spell. So possibly lessons to be learned, not getting too carried away with the green seam and deck in New Zealand on day one. I think
New Zealand have always been scared to put into spin options. I can't even remember when I would have seen it because you've always just had Mitchell Santner in there, and now you've obviously got Glenn Phillips who adds more to the batting lineup than Mitchell Santner does. So I can't actually pinpoint when New Zealand would have played two specialist spinners in New Zealand.
But So this is the beauty about Glenn Phillips, is Glenn Phillips is not a specialist spinner. He's a spinner. He's there for his batting, but he can bowl a bit of spin. So you play a specialist spinner.
He just took a fiver. You can't be like, oh, he's not a specialist. He just took a fiver.
But he's not in the team to offer a bowling option. He's in the team for his batting, right? And fielding, which is always awesome. I don't know if Glenn Phillips would be counted as a specialist spinner, but I think if you brought in a specialist spinner like Mitch Santner and then supplemented that with the ability that Glenn Phillips has as a part-time spinner, who I kind of see, so he may be in between a specialist and a part-time. He's better than a part-timer, but he's not a specialist spinner.
But he's not being selected because he can bowl.
Yeah, like he's being selected because he offers that all-round option.
Yeah, okay. But he's not a specialist spinner. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that meant
but he still took a fiver.
He took a fiver and got, Australia were 164 all out, which left New Zealand with around about 380, I think it was 388 to win.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, probably not likely, but who knows? If a couple of batsmen go on and make a decent score. Didn't
Spoiler,
get off to the best start.
they did not.
Yeah. Didn't get off to the best start.
No.
Yeah, Tom Latham again failed. No other way to say that really, and got out to a really bad shot as well.
Really bad.
15 for 1. Williamson got a 35 for 2. Will Young got out 59 for 3. And you're thinking, okay, still a chance. Ratchanravendra went on to make 50, which was awesome.
Really good.
126 for 3 becomes 128 for 6.
Disgusting.
And then that was early on day 4, and that was just that was the end of the game.
It was all wrapped up by largest win to Australia.
Yeah. What frustrates me the most, I think, about this game is, I think, the application in the first innings from batting, but secondly, and this is probably not how New Zealand should be looking at Test cricket against Australia, had they been able to bat through day 4, day 5 would have been an absolute write-off. So you take away the bad performance and you scrape away a draw and you take that to the Hagley Oval. Like the weather forecast was absolutely horrific for the Monday, which was day 5.
And could have inked out a draw.
It genuinely delivered.
Yeah, it did. So, it's disgusting.
Yeah, really difficult test match for New Zealand. The first time that they've lost at home at the Basin Reserve since 2017, was it? Yes, South Africa in 2017. So, yeah, really disappointing to lose that record. And just a lot of learnings, I think, to take away for the second test about the makeup of the team.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of questions about roles of the team too. Like I'm like, there's a lot of chat obviously about Williamson, Latham, some of the bowlers, but I'm wondering what Tom Blundell is up to, because his role is always to sort of, well, if they ever get that far, sort of see off that new ball in the 80th over and then bat through. I think BJ Watling used to do that role really, really well and always had this knack of digging in when his team was in trouble. And Tom Blundell did that for a period, and now he's not.
Yeah, his form's been really concerning. Yeah. And I think this is the worry about New Zealand Test cricket at the moment. You've got the likes of Tom Latham, who's badly out of form. Henry Nicholls was badly out of form and he's been dropped. Tom Blundell is badly out of form. Is there really that many players on the domestic circuit that can come in and step up? Possibly not, which is why you see, Henry Nicholls, fair enough. He had to go out of the team, and unfortunately, he's lost his place. And Ratchanravendra's come in and has stepped up, but you cannot drop 3 or 4 players at once and hope the new players are all going to come in and step up and make a contribution.
It would be ballsy, it would be so ballsy.
I imagine that. Yeah, it's going to drop half the team and hope that, and it's all batsmen as well. Like the same bowlers are getting the same opportunities. And sometimes they're not performing as well.
Yeah, and then you can't even be like, let's bring over a team that isn't the top 3, because, you've had South Africa C team here recently. We had played Bangladesh last year. Pakistan have been here. They're not England, India, Australia. So that they're not being outperformed on, that high talent level. They are facing people at their level, and it's just still not coming.
Yeah, you do get into a rut, don't you, where you're low on confidence and then you try and force your way back into form. Yeah. And I feel that's where Tom Blundell's at the moment. But I think I saw a stat the other day where his average has now dropped to like 26, 27. Oh. What wicketkeeper is on the domestic circuit that stands up and goes, I am the guy for this role? Or do you stick with Tom Latham and give him the gloves back and then bring in batsmen?
I think you'd need to bring in a new opening batsman. The role of opening batsman and wicketkeeper is a lot, and I'm not really a fan of it, and I don't think Tom Latham is in enough form to get that role done. Yeah,
it's a good point. Like, you want Tom Latham at the top of the order to be focusing probably more on quantity of runs at the moment, and if he is wicket-keeping, he probably needs to focus on that run scoring at the moment. So, yeah, I don't know what the answer is. I do suspect that they will stick with the 2 of them in their roles for a while yet, and we'll see. Hopefully they can bounce back in the second test. I do want to give a quick special mention, as much as it pains me, to Nathan Lyon.
Yes,
I thought he bowled really well in that second innings. He was really expected to, but he really did deliver the goods. So
he's actually so good, and I hate it, but it's so good. Like Australia, really, you have to admit Australia are an absolute world-class team.
It's really hard to admit that.
It would be really, I know it's so hard. It is so hard. Okay, let's look ahead to the future because, this test, let's put it behind us. Some news coming out this week. Devon Conway will continue to sit out this next test. That thumb injury, no good, going for a 6 to 8 week recovery period.
Having surgery.
Expect to see Will Young keeping that opening spot, which means the Will Young pledge is still on into his final chance. Got some traction over on the socials if you want to check it out. We're at Back of the Length on X and Instagram. Also in the squad, unfortunately, Will O'Rourke has been injured with a tight hamstring, which is really real shame. Actually, he was. I really thought he was doing so well.
Yeah, he really has taken his opportunity at that level. There was some wayward bowling, I think, in Australia's first and second innings, but he is obviously still learning at that level. So he's a player I expect that when he's fit will come back into the squad. And Ben Sears is the likely direct replacement for him. And you've been quite vocal about this on Twitter /X / whatever it's called.
Look, I'm a massive fan of Ben Sears, but I think he's the next sort of Adam Milne or Lockie Ferguson of the short form series. And I just cannot see how the way Ben Sears plays and his bowling action, how he's not going to injure himself bowling in a test series like over and over again. And the only way I think he'll be a long-term effectiveness is if he only bowls 12 overs and maybe 2 or 3 spells across an innings, which means Henry, Southey, O'Rourke if he's playing, and your spinner are going to have to be on point.
Yeah, and taking the bulk of those overs. I did see a comment, I can't remember who it was from, in response to you saying that Ben Sears kind of gives Shane Bond vibes. And Ben Sears should potentially be used in the same way that Mark Wood is used for England.
Yeah.
Bowl 150 kilometres an hour for 4 overs, and that's your lot.
Yeah, and come see me on the boundary.
Yeah, come and spend some time at Fan Leg. We'll give you a fantastic reception, which cannot be said for any of the Australian players that will be down there. Where do we think New Zealand need to improve to have a chance to win the second test?
I think it's such a mental game at the moment. It's not being afraid that Australia are here. It's knowing that this is a test match. Like, they had 2.5 days to get that final total, and it was over in 2 innings. Two sessions. So, I think they need to just need to calm down. I don't want to tell someone to calm down, but it's like, is it that simple?
I think your top 3 dictates how your batting innings is going to go. And obviously, if you're Latham or you're Young or your Williamson gets off to a really good start and does accumulate some good runs, that gives confidence to the likes of Ravindra Mitchell, Blunder Phillips to come in and make some good runs. I do think that the difference between the first and second test was probably the fielding. And this was an issue during the T20 series. The catching was absolutely awful.
Where's this come from? New Zealand was the best fielding team, worldwide regarded. And what is this?
Yeah, I do not know what
we're not expecting them to take one-handed thrillers every single ball, but just stop dropping sitters.
Yeah, it's a
Henry
straightforward
Nicholls has one chance on the field this game, and he ruined it.
Yeah.
I was so angry. Who
should not be named also dropped a bit of a soda, and also Tim Southey. So in the second innings of Australia, Nathan Lyon came out as night watchman. He got dropped when he was on 1 or 2 and went on to make 41. You get him out and you go into day 3 with a lot of confidence. And really, really frustrating. So fielding has to really be improved, and that's a basic principle, right? If you can underpin your bowlers' efforts with a good fielding effort, then you, in theory, should be chasing lesser runs.
And you also increase morale. And speaking of increasing morale, we will be pitch side at this game. I'm so excited. Even if they go terribly, I'm just so excited to be back at Hagley Oval and to watch some live cricket and even watch Australia, I guess. But we will be giving them all the love and all the support, and it won't be creepy. And bringing the vibes to Hagley Oval this weekend.
Yep, we will post on our socials on day one, which is Friday, where we'll be sat. If you are at the game, please come and join us, even if it's just for half an hour. Yeah, or if you really like Will Young, come and spend, I was going to say 5 days with us, but I don't see it going that long. So however long this test match lasts for, come and sit with us, come and have some yarns about cricket. It will be really good to take our attention away from the potential performance on the fields that the Black Caps are going to drop. But we're going in positive mindset. It's going to be really good. We're going to level the series. We're going to draw 1-1. Australia are going to go back crying. Shame.
That's exactly how it'll go down, and it all kicks off this Friday, Hagley Oval, 11 a.m. Be there, watch it, follow it, stream it, follow us on all the socials at Back of a Link, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We're going to be all over it. It's the last home outing of the season.
It is.
Okay, before we wrap up, let's turn our attention to the first 11 of the week. The week. This was a first 11 that has been requested by a Twitter/X/Twix follower. First 11, or 11 players that I most want to paint across my nails.
Okay. So this has to be players with 10 letters in their name, right?
So less than 10, and also you need to think. Like how it looks on your nails. So I just don't like if all the letters run together. That would be really ugly. So I'm thinking like going to be little gaps or little bits and pieces. And I've also considered which team I'm supporting as I'm writing this down. Okay, would you like to hear it?
I would love to hear it.
Okay, in at one, the player who inspired this whole thing, Finn Allen. Head along to our socials to see that wonderful picture of me swatting my Finn Allen nails. 2, they will be on show at Hagley Oval this weekend. It's the Will Young nails. Can't wait for that. 3, squad's just been announced today for the White Ferns. If you're out supporting the White Ferns, why wouldn't you have Susie Bates written across your nails?
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Number 4, this is for the people. If you know, you know. Tom Bruce. I've promised if he ever makes the Black Caps again, I will write Tom Bruce across my nails.
Oh, I hope he makes it now.
Me too. If you're ever out supporting the Auckland Hearts, you want Maddie Green. If you ever made it to the 2020 or 2021 World Test Championship final, if I had managed me pitch side, I would have had BJ Watling.
Hang on, I'm just going to count that. BJWATLING. Oh, 9. Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
nice.
9. And you can have like a little gap between the BJ and the yeah. Oh, no, I would have probably done it. BJ.
Oh, yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah.
Watling. Yeah. Yeah, he was actually my favourite player before he retired. All right, back home with the Aces, Sean Salia. When we're bowling this weekend, we'll have Matt Henry. Ben Sears is the other one. Scrub on there. If I was ever watching a South Africa test back in the day and going for South Africa, I would have definitely written Dale Steyn.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. And final one, not that I'm an Otago fan, but Matt Bacon, mostly because I think it'd be funny to write bacon across my fingernails.
It's an interesting selection of players. Good that I like that you've gone domestic and international as well.
Yes.
Covering all bases there. That's good.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
And also, I just could only have so many characters because I'm very sad. I could not fit Michael Rippon. I just couldn't. There's no way Michael Rippon, M Rippon. None of it would have worked.
Yeah, Mike Rippon. No, is Rippon 6?
He's not a Mike. He's not a Mike. What is this rubbish? He's Michael Rippon. Best here at the Super Smash.
Yeah, you put Babe, across both, and he will know what that means. Do head along to our socials. The last thing that I do want to point out, which I know we normally end on first 11 of the week, but it's literally just came to my brain again because somebody gave us a like on Twitter. Ooh. If you haven't seen it, please check out the wholesome content that we posted this morning of Colin Munro.
That's adorable. Another good name for your nails.
I was going to say, 10 letters. So he's also good for the nails. If you haven't seen it, he was playing in the Pakistani Super League. The ball went down to fine leg and was dropped by the ball boy just beyond the boundary rope. And Tom Bruce. Colin Munro was sorry, I've got Tom Bruce on the brain now. Colin Munro was a little bit disappointed and gave some fielding advice to the ball boy. Few overs later, the ball goes down to fine leg, goes for 6, and it is caught by the ball boy beyond the boundary rope. And just seeing the absolute delight from Colin Munro, the ball boy taking a catch, it's just wholesome content because, a lot of times the players don't necessarily get a bad rep, but there's not a lot of interaction sometimes. Yeah. And the ball boys rarely are the unsung heroes because they are the ones who go and retrieve the ball from the boundaries to make sure that your big fast bowler doesn't have to trundle that down to fine leg, get the ball and throw it back. So, yeah, really awesome content. Please get across it. It is awesome.
It is. I love some good, wholesome moments. That is it from us this week. Hopefully we'll have some more wholesome moments across the week. Hopefully Black Caps win, and if nothing else, just a good time down in Christchurch.
Just a bloody good time in Christchurch. That's what we're after. Please get amongst us. If you are down there, let us know, and we'd love to yarn.
Yeah, otherwise we will talk to you again next week. Bye.